This call
This
is
call
being
is being
recorded.
recorded.
Hey, Kevin, let me ask you a question. When you were 12 years old, what was your favorite video game?
Easy. That's an easy question. I'm glad that you asked that, Adam. It was Counter-Strike 1.6.
Wow. Nice
Yeah,
answer.
I got that addiction or love for the game from my brother who's 6 years older than me, and he was playing it, so I looked up to him, and I wanted to play it, and we actually eventually got my, younger sister, who's 3 years younger than I am, addicted to that game as well, and I spent hundreds, maybe even thousands of hours on that game. There were times where I had a buddy of mine, he would bring his entire desktop over to the house and we would have like a LAN party and play all nighters on that game. Man, I have nostalgia just happening right now.
That's so funny. Oh
And what was
man,
yours?
I had a game. I got an IBM PC Junior for Christmas. Dating myself by even talking about this. Some people don't even know what that is, but it was a wonderful machine because it had a 64K floppy drive, 5 1/4. And it my parents got a game called Wizardry that I could play on that. And this game was awesome. It was like a Dungeons and Dragons style game. Mostly text, but some really, just, simple graphics. They were basically lines on a black screen that didn't look like anything. And, it was so funny because at various parts of the game, when you were in combat or taking an action, you'd have to switch out the 5 1/4 floppies for the game to continue. And I just have memories of that drive running, making the little grinding sound as it's turning the disc in there and loading the battle. So
I still remember
wizardry,
dial up.
baby. Yeah, this was before that.
Was this with the screen was green and black or
Yeah, it was like I can't remember technically 64K or something like that. Like the screen was um it it could only render a small number of colors.
I remember when I was playing Counter Strike that those graphics at the time in the early 2000s, like, wow, this is 3D polygons. These are awesome. And you look back at it, like, wow, we've come a long way for video games. And some of them, they look like full blown movies.
Oh, it's unbelievable. That's light years ahead of the game I'm talking about. This thing was one step away from playing a board game. Uh, so, we'll talk a little bit more about playing board games later, right, Kevin?
That's right,
Yeah.
Adam.
Um, so I'm reading a book right now, 12 Pillars by Jim Rohn, and it is an amazing book. I wish I read this thing 20 years ago, but I know Jim Rome has a famous quote that I think most of us have heard by now, but it's you are the average of the five people you surround yourself with. And I thought that would be an interesting thing for us to unpack and discuss today on Tech Guys Who Invest.
Let's do it.
So we had recently played a game, the Cash Flow game by Robert Kiyosaki. Kevin and I got some couples together and played the game together. And for me, that experience was really just a fun and rewarding experience because I realized during the game some of these people I hadn't hung out with before, and I really liked them all a lot. And I started to realize during the evening as we were getting to know these people better, and I really liked them a lot, and I was realizing how beneficial it is to be doing something like that where I'm surrounding myself with people who share the same values as I do and are aspirational and taking action and moving forward in their life in the same way I am, and how rewarding that is.
I agree with you 100%, Adam. I took a lot from that experience. It was fun bonding over food and the cash flow game, and everybody thinking about getting out of the rat race together. And what I loved about the people we brought together is everybody had their own different investor identity. You were focused on multifamily. I'm focused on notes. Another couple was doing short-term rentals with corporate lease at one of these Class A apartments, and another couple was wholesaling and flipping. And yes, our investor identities are completely different, but there were habits and parallels of success, of the foundations that are making us successful, that we shared, and we educated each other to, hey, this is what I'm doing, have you looked at it in this perspective? And it opens our eyes to see things differently.
Yeah, and the experiences that we share with each other are things that propel each of us forward. So I think that's one of the things that I really love about it is that we're bringing each other forward. We're all moving each other. We're growing each other, if you will. And that's what's neat about surrounding yourself with other people who share values and share goals that are similar. If not identical, that's okay, but at least similar. They're aspirational.
Agreed, especially at least moving in the general direction that you're trying to move as well. Surrounding yourself with people that are moving away from where you're trying to go is exhausting. Dealing with things like negativity, people complaining all the time, I actively find ways to avoid that because it just rubs me the wrong way. So I'm not going to put myself in a position to hang out with people like that. It's refreshing to surround yourself with the people who have a similar mentality as you. And playing the cash flow game was a great way of, hey, let's take our mindsets that we have and apply it to the game. But also, I get to see how you're thinking, the strategies you're doing to figure out the game to buy assets. I am learning from you because you're doing something that I'm not doing. So it's that's cool in that regard.
Yeah, and we all do that for each other. It's neat. That specific example is yours, and I have a similar one from, I'm learning things from you and from the other people around. And that's so rewarding, and I just think it accelerates your progress, really. I think that you can do so much more with other people around you than you can all by yourself. And that's part of what I think is valuable about surrounding yourself with other people who are action takers and moving forward.
Action, people who take action, I think that's a great one too, because personally, I've learned that action is what sets apart the dreamers from those who will ever be successful. If you take action and you fail, that's okay. You've tried something and you know it doesn't work. You have to look at the failure as a lesson. Now just keep continuously taking action. And this is where talking to people who are trying things comes into play. If you're surrounding yourself with people that are doing bigger things than you or have larger aspirations than you can learn from them. And there's this ambiance, if you will, that everybody was there to help each other out. And I love that.
Yeah, I do too. And you mentioned failure. Fear of failure really holds so many people back. And, I will be honest, it held me back for a long time, a great portion of my life, actually. And, I think if you surround yourself with positive people, with positive energy who prop you up and help push you forward, when you fail, it's a learning experience. It's not a negative thing any longer. They help you get up. They dust you off. They push you forward. Those are the type of people I'm interested in surrounding myself with. And if I fall down and I get bruised and bloodied and someone wants to kind of rub that in or make sure that I realize I messed up or, those types of things and don't have this real positive mindset or intention about helping me. I don't want to be around those people because what I've learned the hard way, the long way is that slows you down. It can actually completely stall you out and keep you down indefinitely. The opposite of that, though, are people who, when you fall down and you make a mistake, they really help you get back on your feet. They encourage you, you know, they assure you that you're learning, it's part of it, it's okay, keep going. Man, that pushes you forward and just helps you achieve your dreams.
That is an example also of leverage, right? We're going to talk about leverage a lot in this podcast for good reason, but leverage doesn't always mean taking a loan or going into debt. Leverage also applies to sharing knowledge. And if you're surrounding yourself with people that have like-minded goals, I can almost guarantee that they have pieces of knowledge that they can impart onto you. You have to be willing, obviously, to accept that knowledge or take it for what it is. At the very least, it'll allow you to think about something in a different light. But that's a form of leverage too, that surrounding yourself with people with similar goals, ambitions, and aspirations is great for.
Yeah, yeah, I like that idea, Kevin, and these are things that Jim Rohn wrote about in that book, The 12 Pillars. There's the chapter on that in the book where he addresses this. The main character, one of the main characters in the book, is hanging around people who aren't helping to move him forward. So the lesson there was identify what it is you're trying to go after. You know, really be understand that, and then surround yourself with people who will help you get there in some way.
I'm right behind there. I'm right behind you on that one, Adam. Now, my question to you is, how are you finding people to surround yourself with?
Now that's a really good question. So the people last night, I really feel I wouldn't have been around those people if I didn't develop a relationship with you, man. I mean, that's a good example. You know, I mean, you and I somehow connected during the mastermind. And for those of you who don't know, Kevin and I met in a real estate mastermind group. We both paid to go through Tyler Sheff's cash flow mastermind, and we met there and just kind of, I don't know, we just kind of saw a connection, or you know, started to realize we had some things in common, and we developed that relationship, and then we started doing some things together like this podcast and a local cash flow game we host, and the relationship's been deepening. And then if I didn't do that, I wouldn't have met those other people because I met them through you at the cash flow game, and then we all got together in a different setting to play as couples. And see that one relationship I made that was positive because you are an action taker. You're making things happen. You're trying to explosively grow and improve yourself. And I recognize that. And I want to, like I said, I want to surround myself with people like that. So I did. And look what happened. Now I just met five more people, six more people like that because of the one relationship. So I think the answer to your question is start with one.
Starting with one is a fantastic way to do that. Actually, I met one of the couples there through the Bigger Pockets. I posted something about Tampa and somebody reached out to me through a direct message and I met them for lunch and we just kind of maintained that relationship, texting each other, "Hey, they came out to our cash flow event and I brought them together." I'll be honest, I was nervous cuz I don't know if anyone's going to get along or how this is going to work, but you got to get out there and you got to give it a shot. You're not going to network and vibe with everybody the same way, but it's definitely not going to happen if you don't try.
Yeah, yeah, I agree, and it speaks to building relationships. You know, I mean, there's networking, which is just kind of meeting people, and you know, starting to look for ways to, you know, to help each other out. A lot of times professionally, but this is a little bit beyond that. What we're talking about is more deepening some relationships and then surrounding yourself with these people. But that said, there's another thing, Kevin, that I think is interesting. I've noticed. I'd like to know if you've noticed a similar thing, or what your experience might be around this. But surrounding yourself in the way that we've been talking about with the a relationship and people that you meet and share experiences with face to face is the richest form, and it's the best form in my opinion. But I've also noticed that surrounding myself virtually, if you will, with For example, books or audible books or content in some way with positive people is also very beneficial.
Yeah, I'm on the same page as you, Adam. I actually have gotten book ideas from people on Instagram. People will post, "Oh, this is what I'm reading right now," and I'll screenshot it, I'll save it, take that list down, I'll ask them about what they think about the book, and we start to build a relationship. I've added contacts, if you will, to the investor database because we are recognizing that we share similar values, similar ideas, and we both want to succeed. And when I've had phone calls with the people that I met through Instagram, a lot of it was, let's find a way that we can help each other out. Let's keep this relationship going and figure out how we can all rise together.
Yeah, and for me, I wouldn't have discovered this Jim Rome book if I didn't go to the Rod Cleef concert, which or not concert, but Rod Cleef event conference is what I was intending to say there, and we talked about that in episode 5, I believe. Um, I was surrounding myself with people, and I didn't personally know a lot of the people at the conference, but at the same time, I was surrounding myself with those people, with thought leaders and inspirational people and mentors, and I found out about the book through that. Another example is Tony Robbins. I listened to some Tony Robbins audiobooks and really enjoy taking on those perspectives and getting those thoughts. That's another example, I think, of surrounding yourself with positive people and people who will grow you.
One thing we mentioned is we talk about surrounding yourself with people with similar ambitions. But Adam and I forgot to mention that you have to also let people know what it is you're looking for, what your goals are, what you're trying to do. So establishing that and then being okay sharing that is huge too, because you can't surround yourself with people with similar goals if you don't know what goals you're trying to achieve and if they don't know what goals you're trying to achieve. So thinking, if you will, abundantly about, hey, I want to share my goals with people so that I can just let them know. And it, for me, it makes it more real. The more I tell people, like, this is what I'm trying, this is what I am committed to doing, that helps me solidify in my mind after I hear myself, well, now these people can hold me accountable. That's what I think to myself, and I'm going to do it.
Yeah, and that's what I really want. That's what I'm working towards right now. That's definitely one of the things that I'm working towards in 2019 is surrounding myself with people who will push me, who will hold me to a higher level of account and expect me to grow massively.
And being curious, also, a genuine, curious person about what the other person's looking to achieve and finding a way you can add value to them is a great way of surrounding yourself with the right people. Because I understand that time is of the essence. So not everybody has a time to just kind of hang out, and relationships do take time to build. That's true. So listening more to what that person is looking for and being able to figure out, hey, I know some, you could, it could even be something as simple as a referral. You may not personally be able to uh, add value, but you may know somebody who can. We've talked about the importance of surrounding yourself with the right people, and Adam and I have struggled with doing that. I moved to Tampa from California because I wanted to expand my network in a way that I knew I needed to by going somewhere I didn't know anybody. And if you feel like that, we don't want you to feel like that, which is why we're releasing the podcast to help educate you. But we also want to network with you. So if you want to bounce ideas off of Adam and I, you want to talk multifamily, you want to talk notes, you have questions about investing, we're here. So feel free to go to tgwipodcast.com/contact. And there are links to Adam's calendar. There are links to my calendar. Get on our calendars. We can have a chat, and we don't want you to feel alone. And we believe we can help guide you in the right direction. And we are from the school of thought of abundance. In episode 6, we talk all about that. And Adam and I are passionate about abundance because we believe the more that we give out to people, the more will come back to us. So don't be afraid to say hi and network with us. Get on our calendars by going to tgwipodcast.com/contact.